You're listening to the Telltale channel. Don't forget to check me out on all social media: Patreon, Twitter, Teespring, and Etsy. All links can be found in the description or on my website, telltaleatheist.com. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. How's it going? Everybody doing okay? Got an interesting subject to talk about today. As many of you probably know, I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness, so I watch the goings on there pretty closely, and I happened across this video called Young People Ask, How Can I Make Real Friends? I think it came out in 1999. I'm not 100% sure on the date, but it is cringe incarnate, to say the least. So I just wanted to watch a little bit of it.
It seemed to take my mind off my loneliness.
It's got like these ridiculous scenarios set up where like they're in these situations that they would never realistically find themselves in and stuff. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to give this a watch. So let's start from the beginning. Oh, it's kind of set up like a documentary too, even more comical. Also, before we actually watch it, I wanted to mention I found out about a week ago, or maybe it's only been a few days, I'm not sure. It sounds like tentatively Jehovah's Witnesses are adding 2 new governing body members to the governing body, which is a pretty big deal because it means some of their prophecies are failing now that they're adding new people, basically. Just moving people closer and closer to walking away from the religion. I'll probably do like a more detailed breakdown of that maybe Sunday. Also, I'm not 100% sure it's been announced to the public. I think this is just like in internal communiques that they've discussed. They've picked 2 new governing body members. So the rest of Jehovah's Witnesses don't know this yet, to my knowledge. And as a result, that means it's probably not set in stone. So take it with a grain of salt. But one of them is named Gage or Gage Flegel. He was previously a helper. And the other one is named Jeffrey Winder. Both white guys, of course. And there were previously 8. Now there are 10. Let's see if I can name them all. There's Garrett Loesch, David Splain. Oh, God, I can't even remember them all. Tony Morris, Stephen Lett, that's 4. Samuel Hurd, that's 5. I'm missing 3. Samson, I think, is one of them, or Sanderson, or yeah, Sanderson is a number 6. Let's see. Jehovah's Witnesses governing body is made up of... Oh, look! On Wikipedia, somebody added the new guy, Gage Flegel. Stephen Lett, Garrett Loesch, Tony Morris, Mark Sanderson, David Splain, Jeffrey Winder is the other new one. Sam Hurd, I mentioned him. Kenneth Cook, forgot that one. Jeffrey Jackson, forgot that one. They're very forgettable. Yeah, so there you go. Crazy. I guess they added it to their Wikipedia page. So anyways, yeah, I'll probably talk about that at length. But for the moment, let's watch this cringe video by Jehovah's Witnesses, see what they have to say for themselves. And while we do, we are going to play Mario Maker. It'll just be there in the little corner while we watch. All right, let's get into it. Oh, yeah, if you're unfamiliar with Jehovah's Witnesses, Young People Ask is like this series of books for kids, like for teenagers, and it's their way of connecting with the youth and answering questions that they should have about relationships and whatever other garbage, you know, how Jehovah's Witnesses are. So anyways, yeah, wow, that was terrible. I was supposed to have read a Young People Ask book. That's like Jehovah's Witness teenagers' sex ed. You're not allowed to take sex ed in school because they don't want to risk the school possibly teaching you that it's okay to have like a normal relationship with somebody. So they have you read this book. And at one point in the 1990s, when this video was made, the book said that if you touch yourself, then you like go blind and stuff. Or no, you turn gay. That's what it was. They said if you touch yourself, it can turn you gay because, you know, you're touching a dude when you're doing it, even though that dude is you. Okay. Just, oh, God, these people. All right, let's listen to this and see what they have to say. Yep, it's playing. There it is.
Back in Bible times, a young woman named Dinah got involved with bad associations. What were the consequences? Cast members of a modern-day drama we call the Bible account.
Dinah was the daughter of Jacob.
She moved along with Jacob's family to a new area.
Dude, I love how they're framing it like it's a documentary, but it's just a bunch of Jehovah's Witness teenagers telling a Bible story. It's not even, like, it's being framed as though it's history. It's just ridiculous from top to bottom, all of it.
The scriptures say that she used to go out to visit the daughters of the land.
It was a custom with her.
She was putting herself in a compromising situation. At some point, a Canaanite man named Shechem noticed her.
Okay, I don't remember the story of Dinah. I mean, I remember that it exists, but I don't remember what happened in the story. So let me just put it this way. Based on what I've heard from them so far in this video, it sounds like a perfect example of Jehovah's Witnesses victim blaming, right? She's just living her life, doing her thing and whatever, no big deal. And some dude comes in and like harasses her. Is that what happened?
He was the most honorable man in his father's house, but he was still not a worshiper of Jehovah.
He was handsome. He had his pick of women.
But there was something about Dinah that must have attracted him.
It had a lot to do with her innocence and her inexperience.
And she was a virgin.
Like, how would they know any of this? Was not like explained in the Bible. It sounds like they're editorializing right now. They're just making this shit up, aren't they?
She was not like all these other Canaanite girls.
She put herself in a compromising situation.
She allowed herself to be alone with Shechem, where he took advantage of the situation.
They might have just started talking or, you know, laughing about something, and one thing leads to another.
I'm sure it would have been devastating because he forced her to have sex.
Dude, this is so bad. It's so corny and terrible, and they're saying it like it's history.
She got herself into this situation, and that...
No, she didn't, okay? I don't know anything about this Bible story because I don't remember it, but it seriously sounds like a case of victim blaming right now. Just because you wear shorts outside or something does not mean that people are entitled to do whatever they want with you. Like, what the hell are they talking about right now?
She'd hurt not only her family, her father, her parents, but Jehovah too.
She hurt Jehovah. All right, this level sucks, dude. She hurt Jehovah by going outside and getting attacked. Wow. Shame on her for getting attacked.
Even though the Dinah account is from history.
No, it's not. It's not from history. See, this is one of the interesting things about Jehovah's Witnesses and the way that they view things. They seem to believe that the Bible, the entire Bible, is literal history. All of it. Every last bit is history. That's simply not true. I mean, in some cases, it's not even like, it's not even real. Like, in some cases, the Bible books were completely fabricated hundreds of years later. And these poor fools believe it and talk about it as though it is real. It's just terrible and embarrassing, man. I feel bad. I feel so bad for these kids. Like, they never had a chance. The kids that are in this, they're stuck in this religion probably forever.
that it still definitely applies today. This kind of situation can definitely...
It applies today. If you go outside and you get attacked by somebody, it's your fault, is what they're saying.
happen.
I think this drama is going to help a lot of people, kids and adults, to see that what happened to Dinah could happen to any of us if we let it.
God, it is so 90s, it's ridiculous, dude. It's like the clock, the everything. It looks like Goosebumps. You guys remember that TV show from the 90s, Goosebumps? It was like, I wasn't allowed to watch it, but I did flip it on for a second and see it on TV. And, you know, everything was all set up exactly like this. It's like uncanny.
Dear Chrissy, sorry it's taken me so long to answer your letters. It was pretty crazy around here for a while. Anyway, I want you to know that I'm okay. But Chrissy, something you said in your last letter worried.
Even the hair. Look at the haircut that she's got. It is so 90s. She's got bangs and everything. This is insane, dude. Who does this? Who has bangs like this in the 1990s? Well, everybody, I suppose.
Me. You said that you thought the friends at the Kingdom Hall were boring, and that the kids at school were a lot more fun.
See, this is really sad, actually. This is one of the consequences of being a Jehovah's Witness. Even if you're allowed to be friends with outsiders, you are so completely different from everybody around you in every way that they can't relate to you on a fundamental level. They can't befriend you. They can't, like, get to know you because you're so odd. You're so different. You're so weird. You're so mismatched from everything and everybody else, disconnected from culture and everything. Even if you were allowed to be friends with outsiders, you really couldn't be anyways. It's really sad.
If you knew what I've been through recently, you'd understand why I'm worried. You've probably wondered why I haven't written you since we moved here. I guess I've been too ashamed. But now I think I need to tell you.
She's been too ashamed to tell this person what she's been through recently. Okay. Tell us what you've been through.
I understood why we had to move, with Dad getting the new job and everything. But that didn't make things any easier. I was leaving behind all my friends.
Lucinda Falls. Okay. As I mentioned, Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to have friends with outsiders. You find the odd Jehovah's Witness here or there whose parents allow them to have outside acquaintances. Or, hell, in some cases, they'll even allow them to be friends, like full-blown friends, go to sleepovers and stuff. Not very common, but it does happen from time to time. But as I said, even in those situations, you really can't relate to people on a fundamental level. God, it's so cheesy. Like, everything about it, dude.
Watch out for your back. Don't worry, I'll be okay.
Mom and Dad were so busy with our new home and their new jobs. I didn't want to burden them with how miserable I felt. I started writing poetry again. It seemed to take my mind off my loneliness.
So remember, as a Jehovah's Witness, you can only be friends with people in the congregation. Presumably, she's feeling lonely because she hasn't made any friends at the congregation. Maybe the congregation doesn't have any kids her age. It's extremely common. That was a really big problem in my congregation.
At the new congregation, Mom and Dad were eager to make new friends.
This is my wife, Julie. Hi, I'm Ken.
I had a major attitude problem.
Well,
Oh my God. So this is propaganda, FYI. Everything in this video is intended to give people a very specific idea of what they expect from kids. This is supposed to be played to kids, right? So by saying I had a pretty big attitude problem, they're communicating that you shouldn't have a big attitude problem.
It was nice meeting you, Tara.
Yeah, same here.
I wonder what was wrong with her. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, you must be Tara.
Hi.
Hi. I just met your parents. They are so nice.
Thanks.
Well, anyway, my name is Stacy.
So this one, I guess, so she scared away the others, I guess. But this one is going to refuse to leave. She's going to force her friendship on this other person. Okay, go on.
You mind if I sit down?
There was this pioneer sister, Stacy Evans.
Pioneer in Jehovah's Witnesses terms, if you're unfamiliar, like with Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever, a pioneer is somebody at that time, I think, somebody who went, like, agreed to go door to door, knocking on doors of people for 12 months straight for a minimum of, I think at that time it was 50 hours a month. It's changed. At one point it was 70. I think there's a special pioneer that does 90 hours. Anyway, auxiliary pioneer is 1 month for 50 hours. So anyways, yeah, that's, they are viewed as like the holiest of holy, really, really special people that are, why would they put those troll blocks in? Special people that are like, I don't know, really revered in the congregation to some degree because they want to be extra spiritual, basically.
She tried really hard to be nice.
So, I hear you're from Lucinda Falls?
Lucinda Falls.
Oh, Lucinda Falls, sorry. Pretty small town, huh?
It's not that small.
Oh, sorry.
Being contrary about everything that she says, okay?
That's okay.
Must be pretty hard being away from all your friends, huh?
Excuse me, brothers. Could everyone please find their seats?
Stacy, it was nice meeting you. I just wasn't ready to make any new friends.
That's okay. I totally get it, but she was just talking about being super lonely, wasn't she? So, and also, she should really be able to make friends on her own terms. Honestly, this is probably one of the worst rules that Jehovah's Witnesses have right here. This. You're not allowed to, not only you're not allowed to make friends outside the religion, but if you're female, you're not allowed to have male friends. If you're male, you're not allowed to have female friends. You have to self-segregate by age and by gender. And the only thing that you have in common with anybody is Jehovah. That's it. There are no members of the LGBT community. There are no people that have this thing or that thing or these hobbies or whatever else. It doesn't happen. People very intentionally are expected to only segregate into, you know, those areas with those people and nothing else. It's very top-down, hierarchical, structured in a very controlling way. That's one of the things that makes it a cult.
Chrissy, I had never, ever felt so alone.
Do you like troll levels in Mario Maker, and have you ever played a level by Carl Sagan 42? I do know Carl Sagan. No, I have not played his levels, but I've seen a lot of them played on YouTube. And no, I don't like troll levels. I fucking hate troll levels. They're terrible, in my opinion. Some people love them, but yeah, it's just not me. Anyways, yeah, let's keep listening.
And school was the final brushstroke on this portrait of misery.
Look, you see this kid skateboarding right now in class? He's skateboarding. For real. Are you allowed to do that? I don't ever remember anybody skateboarding in my high school, and I skated. I was a skater, for real. What is this?
Stevenson! Off the skateboard!
Okay, he's getting yelled at. That checks out.
I felt so out of place. It was like I didn't even exist. A few weeks later, though, things seemed to change for the better. It was in Mr. Beckwith's English class.
That was so 5 years ago.
All right, listen up.
Do you hear that? That was so 5 years ago.
Listen up, people.
What are we gonna do about the party? That's
Oh, they're talking about going to a party.
so opposite grades. Okay, now the question: what are we gonna do about?
Thank you. This past weekend, while you were out partying, this
Hey, that dude in the back has a shirt just like mine. What are the chances? Exactly like my shirt. That's so funny. Okay.
Work and underpaid English teacher.
Oh, hang on. Let me capture my audio real quick. Okay. Sorry. Let's just step back a little bit. Keep listening.
Thank you. This past weekend, while you were out partying, this overworked and underpaid English teacher spent his weekend reading your poems.
Sweet. What about your?
Take this masterpiece, for example. I think...
Dude, I can't believe he's... Well, I mean, was it an assignment? I guess if it was an assignment, it'd be okay. Wow, I suck. It'd be all right for him to, like, read them out. But otherwise, dude, you're reading people's poetry. It's kind of messed up, right?
I shall never see a guy as cool as Anthony. He's very strong and cute and tall. I like to show him off in the shopping mall.
Here, you got some loose up there?
And guess who authored this work of art?
Of course. God, just everything about this is a caricature. Women are writing or I guess like teenage girls are writing poems about how attractive boys are and stuff. This is rough, dude.
My skateboard makes a sound when it hits the ground.
Dude, look at this. Are you kidding me? You cannot be serious. Look at this dude. He's got a hat the size of Texas. This thing might as well be a 10-gallon hat. Seriously. And it's like, what? That's got to be at least like 2 feet off his head, right? I would say minimum 2 feet off his head, it seems. That's crazy. I've never seen a hat that tall in my life. That wasn't on a cowboy.
That can be by people.
No, Mr. B, you gotta read it with a little rhythm, a little style, some attitude.
Sick, Kyle. Sick.
Shut up.
This is ridiculous, dude. By the way, every single person in this video is a Jehovah's Witness. They were all like, you know, they all volunteered to act in this, basically. And also, they've had beards banned since 1934, maybe. And I think somewhere in there they banned beards. And as a result, you will never see a real beard on a Jehovah's Witness, or I'm sorry, in any production made by Jehovah's Witnesses. You'll never see somebody with a beard. It may be a glue-on, but they're not real.
You could just sit.
Some of you did write verses that rightly can be called lyrical poetry. Now we'll have that select few present their poems before the class.
Lyrical poetry, okay.
Sorry, Miss Taylor. Not this time.
I feel like I'm being left out of an inside joke here.
First up, Miss Tara Matson.
Who? Great. As if being the new kid in class wasn't bad enough.
Dude, I thought somebody was playing the guitar for one of their pieces. That would have been awesome.
Now I had to be put on public exhibition.
Who? Matt. I don't know. I have her in my 7th period, though.
Does she always play? Farm girl.
I was sick. I remember the day I caught loneliness.
Okay, come on.
I remember the day I caught loneliness. It was the day we moved away. It lay like a stone in my lap, and no matter how I tried, prying, tearing, It simply would not go away.
Honestly, this is a problem a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses deal with. Absolutely. You know, deep loneliness that you just cannot shake. It's not fun.
I never knew emptiness until I moved away.
Although most people I don't think would get that, like, angsty in their poem for class, but I don't know. There's probably somebody out there who did.
I remained a pebble, lost in this world so vast and uncaring.
A pebble, you say?
Cast aside, passed by, left astray. I took steps to destroy it before it sapped me, crushed me, left me victim. I pulled harder, ripping that stone right from my heart, and threw it all back into the void from where it came. Yes, I had thrown loneliness away.
Thank you, Miss Madsen. Excellent work. Notice her use of simile when she says, "It lay like a stone."
For weeks I had been invisible to these kids. Suddenly they noticed me.
Thank you. Do you know what this shows me? That you're all capable of writing poetry. It's just a matter of making the effort. Don't forget, people!
Dude, did this level just soft lock my ass? I don't play levels that soft lock me. It's terrible.
New Friday, dramatic dialogue theme, suffering, loss, partner optional.
So, you're a math genius too.
Oh, hi, Lori.
And some kind of frustrated poet just waiting to be discovered.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, Mr. Beckwith sure drooled over your poetry.
So?
So, I figure you're the one to help me with the class assignment.
You mean the dramatic dialogue?
Yeah, theme, suffering, loss.
So she's like supposed to be like the class, what would you call it? The class bully? Is that, I suppose she'd be the bully, right?
Anyway, I have to get an A on it.
Why, you're flunking English?
No, but I gotta pull my grades up in order to get into college. So I figure you're the one to help me with this.
I was planning on working on it by myself.
Come on, Tara. Mr. B said we could use a partner.
Look, Lori, I'm sorry, but I like to work alone when I write.
Please, don't make me beg.
So I guess this is like the type of situation where she may be in a situation to make a friend. And she doesn't want to make a friend. This person is coming off as like really rude and condescending and terrible. But really, she just wants to, like, work with her, right? She just wants to, like, be friends with her or whatever, or what's the word I'm looking for here? Associate with her. And a good Jehovah's Witness knows this is a trap.
I actually felt sorry for her.
Is that a yes?
I guess.
Yes. Okay, I'll pick you up tomorrow and you can go to my place.
Your place? Why can't we just do it here?
This place is gross. Besides, we'll have a lot more privacy.
See, this is a problem now. This is the problem revealing itself. She's not allowed to be friends with somebody. She's certainly not allowed. Dude, are you kidding me? This is a terrible level. She's certainly not allowed to go to another person's house. That is deeply forbidden.
Okay, ciao.
Going to her house wasn't exactly what I had in mind. But at the time, I couldn't think of any way to get out of it.
Tell her that you're a Jehovah's Witness, and as a Jehovah's Witness, you're forbidden from hanging out with outsiders. Simple as that, see? Just like that.
And I have to admit, I was a little curious about this girl.
Holy Christ on a cracker, dude. Did you see that house? Look at this.
But at the time, I couldn't think of any way to get out of it.
Get a private driveway and shit. Look at this balcony and all that. How many rooms is this? This has to be like 18 rooms, right? Jesus. And what is that? Is that a Porsche or something? Some kind of a sports car of sorts. That's nuts, dude.
And I have to admit, I was a little curious about this girl.
Beautiful house. Holy shit. Seriously, that's crazy.
We both had a serious case of writer's block.
Beckwith drives me crazy with these assignments. I mean, what does suffering loss mean?
Didn't he say it can mean whatever we want it to mean? So we make something up.
This is so stupid, dude.
Like what?
Like when your parents make you move away and you lose everything you care about.
So this girl, this is not the Jehovah's Witness, okay? If you're just hopping into this, what's happening is this Jehovah's Witness girl is struggling with making friends outside of the religion. You're not supposed to do that, right? And she just found herself in a situation where she's kind of pushed to make friends with somebody on the outside for an English project, basically. And she showed up at this non-Jehovah's Witness girl's house to, work on this English project. And she's being sassy, naturally. So this girl is not a Jehovah's Witness. This is the house that that she's at. Apparently, this girl has a humongous heckin' house. And this Jehovah's Witness is just grumpily talking shit about whatever with this non-Jehovah's Witness here.
Tell me about it.
What, you too?
Hey, I wasn't always the picture of charm and fashion that you see before you today.
She's not the... I know that fashion changes over time. That happens, and fashion is subjective, but she's certainly not the picture of charming fashion now either, for what it's worth.
We used to live in a small house in a small town. And then Dad hit it big in the stock market. And voila. Goodbye, friends. Hello, loneliness.
Okay, the stock market isn't really something you hit it big in, is it? I mean, unless you're doing serious gambling, buying penny stocks that you have no way of knowing will actually take off, and then by sheer luck it just happens to. That is really not common at all. If you're investing in the stock market, chances are, dude, I suck at this game. Chances are you're probably just investing and expecting a turnover or a return. Expecting a return of somewhere in the vicinity of 6 to 10% per year at best. So, yeah, they couldn't have picked a different thing to have said that he hit it big in, really? I mean, I guess the idea is they wanted to give him something that he didn't have to work for. They wanted to make it clear that he doesn't really, deserve this house or whatever, right? I mean, that seems logical based on what's happening here.
I don't know why I'm telling you all this.
That's it.
That's what?
The loss. We do a dramatic dialogue about the loss of friendship.
You mean about friends moving away?
No, a little too close to home.
Then how about because they've had a fight?
Fight? About what?
Hello, about guys. What else do girls fight about?
That's something she obviously knows nothing about as a Jehovah's Witness. That's the hang-up here. She doesn't have any way to connect with this girl, and it's very obvious. This girl has nothing in common with her, and you know why? Because she's a Jehovah's Witness, and the other girl is not.
Finally, the ideas were flowing. We got together again the next day.
So there's two women, and we can make them really old, like 30.
Yeah, and they're both hopelessly in love with this guy, Jake.
Jake? Nah. Brett.
Okay, Brett.
Now.
Brett is such a 90s name, isn't it? She's obviously getting into bad association here. This is not going to end well.
As I got to know Lori.
Ooh, there's rap in the background. Even worse. Uh-oh. Jehovah's Witnesses are most definitely not allowed to listen to rap.
My opinion of her began to change. I never would have guessed that we had so much in common.
Dude, it sounds like, what's that song by Coolio? Gangsta's Paradise? Sounds just like Gangsta's Paradise. I bet they were trying to imitate it without actually getting the legal rights to play it.
Thanks. These are great pictures.
It sounded just like it, right? And it came out around that time, too. That's definitely something Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to listen to right there. The car is a BMW Z4. Oh, okay. Nice. I didn't know. I appreciate the info on that. That's pretty interesting. Yours truly, number one pony. Can you get a divorce if a husband isn't... if the husband doesn't quit doing what a JW is supposed to do, like Joseph Jackson taking his kids on tour and focusing on the J5 career? No, but you can separate from them. So you're not free to remarry. You're not allowed to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend until the day you die, or until the day they die, one or the other, I suppose. But you can separate if they are neglecting your spiritual needs. There are 3 reasons for scriptural separation. And then there's 1 reason for scriptural divorce, and that reason is if you've been cheated on. The 3 reasons for scriptural separation, which I know because, you know, my mom had to look into this because my dad and all that. I believe those are physical, willful non-support, like he's not, like, paying the bills, and it's just because he doesn't feel like it, not because he can't hold a job. So if he had a disability and he couldn't get a job, that's one thing. But if he just was lazy and wasn't working for that reason, then you can separate from him. So that's physical. Then there's spiritual, willful non-support, which is they aren't interested in the religion and they're not, like, bringing you to the meetings or whatever. And then the third reason is physical abuse, but that bar is really, really low. I know from personal experience, my family was, you know, not great at all. Like my family life was terrible, and the elders kept telling my mom to go back to my dad, despite that fact. And they all knew what was happening. So the bar is as low as it gets, honestly. Anyways, yeah. Those are the 3 reasons. There's also, cheating is the reason for divorce. But that's it.
Who's this?
Oh, that was my best friend, Misty. We used to do everything together. Anyway, that's our old house. Can you believe it?
Don't you miss it sometimes?
Yeah, a little.
Jehovah's Witnesses are also very obsessed with not having big, flashy things, not having a lot of money. They've had a few celebrities in the religion, like Michael Jackson's family was Jehovah's Witness, as mentioned by the commenter, or by the super chatter earlier. And Prince is also, or was also, famously Jehovah's Witness. But yeah, they really frown upon, you know, physical items. Wow, what are the chances I would have landed on that little spot there? I'm going to boo this level. This is terrible. They really focus in on not having big flashy things at all. If you are... Oh, Serena Williams actually just got baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, too, the other day. Matter of fact, check this out. Hold up. If you don't know Serena Williams, she is a famous tennis player and has been a famous tennis player for a long time, and also a self-described Jehovah's Witness, even though she was not baptized. But watch this. This is her baptism. This happened on January 8th, 2023.
Yo.
She's filthy rich.
Who's that? Who is this on
That's
the
her.
screen now?
Yeah.
There she goes. It's a big deal, dude. When people get baptized as Jehovah's Witnesses, it's a really big deal. For real. You're basically signing a contract with this organization that you can't get out of ever. And the consequences for not honoring the contract are you lose everything and everybody you ever loved. So, yeah, not great. Anyway, Serena Williams got baptized. So you can be famous and rich and also a Jehovah's Witness, but it's the kind of thing where you should not be pursuing fame as a Jehovah's Witness. So it really doesn't happen unless, like, you don't really see this unless they were already Jehovah's Witnesses, like, before they got, I'm sorry, unless they were already famous before they became Jehovah's Witnesses. That's the only time you really ever see people, like, you're famous people as Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyway.
But mostly my friends.
So, Proverbs 13:20 says, he that is walking with wise persons will become wise, but he that is having dealings with the stupid ones will fare badly.
See, right here, what they're doing is discouraging. They're making a point here. This is propaganda, remember. Everything, every aspect of this show, everything that they show you is intended to make a very specific point. And the point that they're making here is don't be friends with outsiders. Do not be friends with outsiders. That's why they read that verse.
He says, he that is walking with wise persons will become wise, but he that is having dealings with the stupid ones will fare badly.
He that is walking with wise persons will fare well, or whatever else. Yeah, they really don't like you being friends with outsiders at all.
Now, when the Bible says stupid ones, it's not talking about people who are unintelligent, but about people who do not follow godly standards.
And now the camera pans over to her. They're making an obvious point now, right?
All I could think about was getting together again with Lori.
You can't have him, Alexander.
Dude, this is so sad. They've been on this train since forever. I mean, this video came out around the time I was 10 or 9 or 10, somewhere in there. I grew up with this belief that it was, dude, I suck, that it was wrong for people to hang out with outsiders. And this is just a perfect example of them reinforcing that. Even 30 years ago, basically. 25, 30 years ago. I guess 25 years ago.
Alexandra, Brett is mine.
Perfect. Let's take it from the top.
You can't have him, Alexandra. Brett is mine.
Yours? Well, you don't own Brett, Kimberly.
Yeah. What about me, Alexandra?
That's the problem, Kimberly. It's always been about you.
Doesn't our friendship mean anything at all to you?
Here it comes. Our friendship? Write it off as a loss, honey. Your loss, my game.
Okay, so we weren't ready for Broadway. But the class loved it. A week ago, I couldn't stand this girl.
Ladies, brilliant.
Suddenly, Lori's friends didn't mind being seen with me.
That was so great. You guys should try out for the school play.
And this is a danger. Suddenly, their friends like her. This is a problem as a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay, no, that was just for an A. But you have definitely earned a seat at this table, Tara.
Yeah, we had an opening for a literary genius.
Erin, please, I'm no genius.
Ooh, and so modest.
Girl, if I had your talent, I'd cash in on it.
What do you mean?
Hello, scholarships, a career.
Ooh, and they're sending another message now. No college education. They've actually been criticized heavily for this in recent years. I'm actually pretty interested to see what they have to say about it all the way back in the 90s. They've been pretty blatant recently. I'll show you some examples of that in a minute.
Fame.
Money.
Guys.
And money.
And guys.
And your mom.
No, writing's just a hobby for me.
So what do you plan to do, flip burgers?
Well, I need to do something to support myself, but I really want to help people.
See, that's what it's all about. You shouldn't be, when she says help people, what she means is knock on doors. You shouldn't be aspiring to be anything more than a door knocker and do exactly enough to accomplish that goal and nothing more. That's the idea.
What, you mean like a social worker or something?
No, more like volunteer work.
Volunteer work?
She means knock on doors for Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, I mean, we teach people.
Teach what? Hello, teachers don't make any money.
No, let me explain. You see, well...
See, this is the inevitable conclusion to any relationship as a Jehovah's Witness. You will most definitely bring it up. You know that old joke that Christians tell about atheists? How do you know if someone's an atheist? You don't have to guess, they'll tell you. Or that joke people tell about vegans. How do you know if somebody is a vegan? You don't have to wonder, they'll tell you. That, you know, this is true of Jehovah's Witnesses. This is like part of the belief system, is to evangelize and spread the ideas to everybody around you at any cost. And if you don't, you could be what they call blood guilty, which means you'll die permanently, and there is no resurrection, there's no going to heaven, you're just gone. That's a consequence of not telling these girls how she felt, or, you know, what religion she is, or whatever else. Let me just show you what I mean. Okay, there's a governing body member named Tony Morris, right? He was added to the governing body in 2005, I believe. Interestingly enough, he's a Vietnam veteran. He was in Vietnam before becoming a Jehovah's Witness. War is strictly forbidden. Jehovah's Witnesses are giga-pacifists. Anyways, he comes out on stage. This was from January 13th, 2018. And he says this.
So you just take a look, and this is the idea Jehovah's getting across, at your hands. And you look at your hands now. Only God, as he looks at your hands in here and all those that are tied in, does he see blood there? The humans sitting next to you, they might have an idea because they...
Did he just say the human sitting next to you? Is that what he said? What a thing to call somebody, the human.
Know you well, and you haven't been out in service in weeks. Well, guess what? Most likely God's seeing some blood all over your hands.
What he means when he says going in service is knocking on doors. That's the phrase that they use to refer to door knocking, going in service. So if you aren't going in service enough, if you aren't going to the degree that they expect you to, then God will deem you blood guilty, which means it's tantamount to murder. You basically might as well have murdered somebody. That's what that means.
Or they go totally inactive, and we appeal to them, we try to help, but you cannot water down what God says here. If your hands are not clean because you've been out warning, then they have blood on them, and you're going to lose your life.
Been out warning, i.e. knocking on doors. So, yeah, that's Tony Morris telling you if you don't spread your beliefs to the people around you, you might not make it through Armageddon. God might just choose to kill you for murdering these girls who may have survived if you had just told them. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, there's another thing that I wanted to play. Hang on. Is this the one? This might be the one. Let's see.
So it's not that you don't dress nice to fit your physique. That's fine. That's what Max and I do. What's wrong is this extremely tight pants.
I'm sorry. No, wrong one. Wrong one. That's the tight pants one. I was looking for the higher education one. Yeah, he has a weird obsession with tight pants. I don't understand it, but, you know, that Tight pants aren't for everyone, I guess. Well, he's saying they're not for anyone, and he can do that being a Jehovah's Witness governing body member. But check out what he says about college, about higher education. This is from, actually, I don't have a date on this one. I'm not sure when this came from. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have a date on this one. But I think he was in Trinidad when he gave this talk. All right, give it a listen.
Sometimes people will say, well, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses are against education. Well, that's ridiculous. We're not against education. We are pro-education.
Totally, totally.
It's just that we are selective with who does the educating.
Right. You're only allowed to be educated by other Jehovah's Witnesses, is what he's saying. I.e., he is opposed to higher education.
We promote divine education. We believe it to be superior because it leads to everlasting life. So with schools of higher education, in many of their curriculums, and if you know anything about it, maybe some of you have been, do they not have Philosophy 1 and Philosophy 2? That doesn't matter what you're going to major in. And they start you off there. You'd be going for another thing, but you have Philosophy 1, you have Philosophy 2. And then all of a sudden it gets in there, and the intellectual gripping of the mind, very hard to recover from.
The intellectual gripping of the mind is hard to recover from, right? You get curious, you learn some facts, and then you're doomed. When you start learning some facts, you know you're in bad shape, right? That totally checks out. Absolutely.
I've seen this so many times, and we could tell you so many horror stories in the parents.
Horror stories, he says. Horror stories of kids getting educated. Yeah, that sounds scary. Absolutely. Most definitely. I am on the same page with Tony Morris here. It is scary to be educated.
Parents are all distraught. Why didn't you do more for my son? Why didn't you do more for my daughter? I would say, who dropped them off? The elders are heartbroken. They try. Know a lot of them personally. So you have to decide that. You want to take the risk? Your call. We're warning you.
So this is what he calls a conscience matter, which means, are you going to be disfellowshipped for going to college? The answer is no, you won't be disfellowshipped. But you heard the terms that he put it in there. They were pretty stern. There's a very high probability that you will be disfellowshipped or that you'll lose your family member or whatever. Or even worse, Jehovah just won't like that you did that, so he'll just kill your ass in the end, you know? That's kind of the idea behind, like, conscience matters or whatever. They have a similar idea about conscience matters when it comes to blood transfusions, or not blood transfusions. Those are explicitly banned. But taking some medications that were derived from blood fractions or organ transplants. I believe organ transplants are a conscience matter currently. They used to believe, I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses believed at one time that you would take on the personality of the person that donated the organ to you. That was back in the 1960s, I think. And for that reason, organ transplants were banned. Then they unbanned them, said it was a conscience matter. Then they banned them again, then they unbanned them. Flip-flop, flip-flop. That's how it's been. So anyway, that's what conscience matters are with Jehovah's Witnesses. Just complete nonsense. But now you have an idea of what to expect regarding Jehovah's Witnesses' viewpoint on some of these issues. So let's keep listening to these girls talk about, like, being, I don't know, what, being Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever it is.
I mean, I'm one of...
Hold that thought. Yeah? Hey, Joanna. Oh, cool. Of course I'll be there. All right, ciao. Summer clearance girls, today only. Yes. Tara, you can't miss it.
I don't think I can.
They're asking her to hang out with them outside of school. This is how it inevitably progresses. You make a friend in school, and now, next thing you know, I'm sorry, you got to start even more basic than that. You work on a group project with somebody, and next thing you know, they want to hang out with you at school. No, not too big of a deal, but, not really great. And then before you know it, you're befriending their friends, and they want to bring you over to their house and hang out and buy things with you. I mean, you just can't. It's unacceptable, right, to have friends outside the religion. You just can't do it. Just can't do it. It leads to terrible things, apparently. It leads to you going down a bad path or some other nonsense.
Ken, I don't have any money with me.
Have no fear. Daddy's credit card is here. Besides, I owe you big time.
So she is offering to pay for her to buy nice things. Seriously.
Hey, maybe we can get her out of her Miss Lucinda Falls outfit.
It's Lucinda Falls.
Whatever.
And besides, what's wrong with my outfit?
Now I was in Lori's circle of friends. But I had to make a
Dude, that house is absolutely absurd.
few changes to fit in.
Check this out. Great. Hey. Wait till Mark sees you.
Mark?
Hello, Mark, in your English class, Mark. He's been checking you out ever since your little poetry reading.
He's cute.
That's a big deal. This is deeply, deeply forbidden within Jehovah's Witness theology. She's looking at other people, or they are encouraging her to pursue relationships outside the religion. Basically, the point that they're trying to make is things progress from you just doing a project with somebody straight to you're dating outside the religion. And of course that means you're sleeping with them, because only a hoe bag would get with somebody outside the religion anyways, right? A good Christian girl would never date somebody outside the religion. Never. You're a monster if you do such a thing.
Cute, and Daddy has big bucks.
Not to mention that he's recently become available. I could definitely see you two together.
Together? I don't want to be together with anyone.
We could set you up.
Well, if he's so great, how come none of you are interested in him?
I'm seeing somebody already. Ditto.
And I'm with Anthony, remember? And he's in college, thank you.
Besides, I'm not into the sensitive intellectual type.
So they're making the point that these girls are, God, what's the phrase for this? Degenerates. They're trying to make it clear that these girls are complete degenerates. And they're trying to bring this girl into their debauchery.
Yeah, just that last mutant you were dating.
The intellectually charged type. Don't even get me started on some of the losers you've dated.
Anyway, you are interested, aren't you, Tara?
Well, no. I mean, I don't know.
Don't worry, Tara. We'll arrange everything.
See, it all starts with a seemingly innocent group project, and before you know it, you're sleeping with some random person. That's the point they're making, seriously.
Arrange what?
Arrange what?
The girls also figured I needed a little help with my social life.
Mark, she's way different from the other girls you've dated. I mean, she's into charity and volunteering and that sort of stuff.
She wants to be a social worker or something like that.
Oh.
Dude, do you guys remember these headphones that this little kid on the right here is wearing right here? You guys remember these things? They had that wire band that went over your head, and they were just two little puff balls that sat over top of your ears. Remember that? Good times, the 90s.
Hi, Tara.
Oh, those aren't puffballs. He had actual in-ear headphones. Wow. Classy.
Mark, you are so funny.
Hi, Tara.
Hey, Tara. We saved a seat just for you.
Thanks.
You know Mark Chandler, don't you?
Yeah, we're in the same English class.
And you are the great...
Okay, and he has an earring. That is deeply, deeply wrong in Jehovah's Witness culture. A dead giveaway, he's a bad boy, and Jehovah's Witnesses are not allowed to like bad boys. That is against the rules.
Poet and playwright.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm serious. You were really great. So, how do you...
Dude, I'm a huge fan of that earring, though. That thing is metal. And the haircut, oh my God, just everything about this is just metal, dude. I love it.
You like life near the big city?
Well, I haven't actually seen the city yet.
Get out. What do you do when you're not at school?
And see, another opportunity to bring up Jehovah's Witnesses, and she would be, you know, blood guilty. She'd be blood guilty if she didn't. If she does not talk about Jehovah's Witnesses right now, she is going to be, you know, the sin will be tantamount to murder. So she must bring it up. And she created a diversion here, seemingly. So I'm assuming that what they're kind of implying is that she didn't want to answer it immediately. Let's see what happens next.
On Meatloaf Day,
If you're just listening, she snapped her fork, her little plastic fork at the, like at the lunch cafeteria thing. The cafegematorium that most schools have.
The pizza.
Yeah, that's gross.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Isn't he so sweet?
Anyway, on weekends, I'm usually with my parents. And
Hey, what are you doing Saturday? We could show her around.
Play tour guides, why not?
Sounds like fun.
Let me in. So what do you say?
I don't know. I have to be up early on Sunday.
We'll start early, we'll get back early.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on, Tara.
Well, I guess so.
All right, we're on.
So somebody asked, what's wrong with earrings in Jehovah's Witnesses culture? The answer is, well, they don't really give a clear answer for most things, but they come up with answers for various different things. Like with birthdays, for example, they give you a list of various different things. Honestly, there is no answer. They just want you to not be part of the world is the answer. They want you to be separate from everybody else and not have any way to connect with anybody else, basically. With birthdays, their claim is anytime a birthday is mentioned in the Bible, something bad happens at it. In the same vein, you could point out that anytime pet dogs are mentioned in the Bible, it's in a bad light. So nobody should ever have pet dogs. You know, that kind of logic doesn't lead you down any useful path, if you will. But for earrings specifically, women are okay to have earrings. It's just men that aren't allowed to have earrings. And wow, dude, this level this is a pick-a-path level. This is terrible. I'm not playing this. Anyway, women are allowed to have earrings. It's just men. I think they don't want you to have earrings because it's too girly, too female, and real men don't wear earrings. I think that's kind of the idea, but I you know, who knows? It's like the birthday thing. Like, is there really a reason in the first place? Probably not. They're just coming up with ridiculous excuses.
So we'll meet after lunch, and I'll pick you up at your house.
Great.
That's okay. I'll just get a ride to Lori's.
Right. She can't have somebody pick her up at her house because her parents would never be okay with such a thing. They'd never be okay with her dating somebody outside the religion. This is like cardinal sin number 1. You don't do it. You just don't. And dude, this level sucks. Oh my God. All right. I think I can beat it though.
I never would have admitted it, but I did think
cool.
Mark was cute. And
that's a huge deal for a Jehovah's Witness. You cannot do that. You cannot date outside the religion. She is going to be in bad shape when her parents find out. Oh boy. What would happen if I openly told a JW that I'm willing to die by Jehovah's hands? It's much better to be tortured for an eternity. Much better than being tortured for an eternity? I'm not sure I know what you mean. Are you saying, like, what would happen if you told them that you would rather not take part in this? They'd view you as an apostate, and they would stop talking to you permanently. They would view you as, like, mentally diseased. I mean, they call non-Jehovah's Witnesses, or apostates specifically, actually, just apostates, they call them mentally diseased. And that's actually one of the reasons why they were banned in Russia, was because they called, you know, somebody, or because they called apostates mentally diseased. They were called an extremist organization for that reason. So anyway, just crazy, dude.
The day with the girls sounded like fun. That Saturday morning, I went out in field service with Stacy Evans.
Right, this is where they go door knocking. That's what they call field service.
But my mind was not on preaching.
You want to do the next one?
No, that's okay. You could do it.
I told Stacy that I was hungry and wanted to stop service early. She insisted on buying me lunch.
Right, so this is that one chick that she met in, like, the very beginning of the video, right? Stacy, that was trying to, like, get, you know, talk to her and befriend her or whatever.
Okay, here's your salad. Thanks. It'll be a couple minutes on your burger, honey.
Thanks.
So, how are you doing? I mean, getting used to the new school and everything.
Notice they're not the same age. They're completely different age. Stacy is way, way older than this one girl, seemingly, right? But that's all you can get in Jehovah's Witness circles. There may not be people your age. I mean, in this there were, but they're always portraying people as having mismatched friendships. You know, people who are just a little bit older than them, because they realize that this is actually a really big problem. In fact, this is something that happened in the most recent Caleb and Sophia video. Hold on, where is it? Right here. This anti-apostate video. It came out on January 5th, maybe. Sophia is portrayed as, like, missing out in school. She's not allowed to be friends with outsiders, basically. And at the Kingdom Hall, so at home she's praying for friends, like, inside the religion. And then this girl comes over, like, who's very obviously a lot older.
You like turtles?
I love turtles.
Really?
It is so cringy, dude. I can't stand it. It is just the worst. Anyway, yeah, that's the problem with Jehovah's Witnesses. And, you know, this is not like a thing that's only been around for the past, you know, couple of years. This has been around since day one. This is a problem when I was little. I mean, I've told this story a few times, but I wasn't allowed to have friends when I was a kid. So I would watch live news coverage to have some connection with the outside world. I'm talking like 12 years old. Had no interest in politics, knew nothing about it. Just wanted to hear the voice of another human being that was being spoken at that exact moment. It's bad. It's really bad. And people underestimate just how damaging this religion really is, seriously. But anyway, let me know what you think about that in the comments. And if you want to see more, there's another part coming out. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to get out of here. If you want to see the next part, come watch it on my Unfiltered channel tomorrow morning. Telltale Unfiltered. I'll be streaming probably 10:30 a.m. 10:30 to 2:30 probably. And I'm going to finish this up. And there's actually another one. I wasn't super into this one. Wait, it looks like this is actually... Oh, no, is this the same one?
Scholarships?
It is the same one. Okay. Well, it looks like we'll probably finish this one tomorrow on Unfiltered. And then I think we're going to watch this show called Pagan Invasion. I watched the first episode. In fact, I think yours truly, Number One Pony, suggested it to me originally. But yeah, figured we'd watch some of that. That'll be pretty interesting. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And thank you guys so much for coming. All right, I'll talk to you guys next time, hopefully tomorrow morning, okay? Later, guys.